Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Happy here, back again with Kuroko no Basket Season 2. We are on episode 21, and in the last episode we started the match between Seirin and Yosen. Finally, it's the quarterfinals, and as of yet, nobody has scored. Nobody at all. But we only just really started, didn't we? I mean, we've had two attempts so far. Only actually maybe one, and I don't even think Kigami has taken his shot yet, right? Because it ended with that whole thing of Murasaki Bara essentially having the whole inside of the 3-point line, as his area it's his area of effect. It's like you can't, you're not getting shots off inside. So essentially that just means that, you're going to have to be taking shots from outside the 3-point line. But even then, I feel like, we're just worrying about Murasaki Bara at the minute. I mean, you need to worry about the other players on there as well, because it's not just Murasaki Bara that is the problem. You know what I mean? They're a really, really good team, so you have to worry about the other players as well. But with Kuroko having 7 out of 10 shots that he's able to actually, get, it's a possibility that Kuroko could be the one to actually start the point scoring. You know what I mean? But it may be an interesting thing of Yosen themselves actually getting a point first, which I wouldn't be surprised actually if they did. But it seems as of right now they're just sitting back and sort of holding the fortress down, kind of, so to speak. So yeah, but I think we'll just get straight into episode 21 and see what we get. So yeah, the reaction is in the description below. There's also a link to the full length if you want to watch the reaction to this episode in full and not just the cut 10-minute version, and the offer is there for you. But yes, nothing else to talk about, so we're going to get in episode 21, see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 21. I can't believe that we're already in the second half of the game. I feel like this went by, this match has been going by way quick. But it makes me think that it's going to obviously slow the pace down of the game for the remaining episodes of Season 2. Aside from what would normally be the case with the finale of the season actually being an aftermath of the match. But fucking hell, really, really quick. Where to start? I guess we'll just start with the fucking the very beginning and go through. So Kuroko brought out his Cyclone Pass, which is always really cool. It also extended it a bit. Normally, they had the first bit, which is we've seen a few times, I believe, but they added a bit of extra on in the animation and added a curve to the ball, which is just really, really cool, really, really cool visually. I don't think it really matched where Izuki was when he actually gathered the ball, because it was still straight on. When you saw Izuki dribbling with the ball and we were looking at it from obviously in front of him, we could see Kuroko from where he was behind, so it was more of just a visual nature of it. But the fact of the matter is that there was some swerve on the ball, just really looked cool. And yeah, they Yosen took them to 18-0 in the first quarter. I just found it funny that Seirin were celebrating that as a victory, that they managed to keep it at 18 and not 20. Because I guess it was just that sort of that hope of oh my god, if they get it to 20, that's it. It's game, set and match. But that having it 18-0 gives them that slight bit of hope. So after that we had Kiyoshi's Vice Claw, which I wrote down. I also wrote down defense beside it, thinking that for this match in particular, Kiyoshi was going to completely handle the defensive work, and I still think he is. Although, actually, you know what? Maybe it is going to be different, because the idea is that the difference between the first half and the second half is the formation change, right? And how they're actually set up, and because Yosen's now coming out in a more offensive manner, that we have to obviously change up. Seirin needed to change up their game plan as well, meaning that having man-on-man, one-on-ones either way it had to associate, Kagami and Kiyoshi as they're the two individual players that are able to bring out their sort of A game against this team. And it was always going to be a partnership. I didn't know how they were going to do it in terms of, I feel like at some point anyway, it's going to have to change from Kagami to Murasaki Bara. You know what I mean? I mean, this is going to be a real test for Kiyoshi, because this is like, I want him to do well, but it's going to be tough for him to just take on Murasaki Bara by himself. You know what I mean? He has to hold him off and score points from the inside, but and he has to do that alone, because with Kagami being on Tatsuya, it basically means that Kagami's not available to go and assist with Kiyoshi going up against Murasaki Bara. So yeah, that's going to be a tough one for Kiyoshi. But I tell you what, if he can get in there and start making some plays, it's going to be insane. I don't know. I think it's going to be Kiyoshi's Vice Core really that's going to be the crux of how he's able to battle against Murasaki Bara, because I did mention it a bit in the reaction. The fact that Kiyoshi's able to get there first is because he's outstretched with one arm, as opposed to getting two up there. You're extending your height more with one hand. So having that sort of being able to grip the ball with one hand, he's able to get there. And you've got to remember is that Murasaki Bara isn't. He may be slightly taller, and by slightly I mean just a tiny bit than the other two. I think one of them's called Liu. I don't know what the other guy's called. But yeah, so Kiyoshi, I feel like can pull this off, and it's gonna be great when it does. Yeah, Kuroko's come out, but yeah, I mean they were saying that in order to win they have to score from the inside. The outside isn't gonna play in this one. So that's interesting actually, considering how last episode I was talking about how I feel like Shotoku would really do well against this team, but maybe not as well as I'd actually thought, because obviously by where you get your points forces the opponent out in certain ways, and because obviously Kuroko went on the inside, started getting those shots off, it forced players out of position to go defend against Kuroko, which obviously alleviated the pressure with Hyuga and allowing Hyuga to actually take shots without any pressure. So in the same sort of vein, if Shotoku obviously getting 3 points from Midorima all day every day, it would obviously force out Yosen in position to change up their sort of style of play, and it wouldn't be as easy for them to start getting 3 points from then as well, especially with the other two really tall players. What else? Yeah, so Kuroko is essentially, he's misdirecting the ball is what he's doing, but he's using it in the same vein as what he would do with a Vanishing Drive, which means, the interesting thing is I want to know what the crux is for that, because generally what happens is when he was using his Vanishing Drive, it was using Kagami coming into the line of sight, and I don't know if that is the same thing, if when he's actually taking those shots that whoever's behind him, like Azuki for example, is actually taking his eye off. But I thought it was always Kagami, because he was the light, he was the one that you're worried about, so you would always, your focus would always, it would like focus on Kagami for a split second enough for Kuroko to actually get past. But yeah, essentially what he's doing is he's using a passing form and using his palm as a style of shot, by essentially forcing it up, which is definitely interesting. I mean, I can't believe they actually brought that up as like a term of passing the ball to the basket, because I was literally talking about that last episode, about how you could just, if you could apply the same, like whatever it is that Kuroko is aiming at when he's passing the ball, whether it be, it depends on what he's focusing on. Is he just, I don't think he's just focusing on where the person he's passing to is, but it feels like because his passes are so accurate that he's actually using like a reference point, like something more like smaller, like the person's hand or something like that. And I was wondering if you could take that reference point and add it to the basket and just use that point and pass to that. You know what I mean? But the thing is that actually what I was thinking about wasn't like I never thought that Kuroko could just use a higher arc so that it would essentially become more of a direct sort of pass is what he normally does and turns it into a shot. When I was thinking about was like I think the passing to the hoop didn't work because there was a loft. It requires a lofted shot. There has to be some kind of arc on the ball. Right? It has to arch, right? So I never thought that like that was right, and I was like, all right, I guess that's the reason why. But because his shots are not from like very far away, the arch itself is very like it's much more like of a compacted arch where it's like it's up and then it's down. You know what I mean? As opposed to actually like a long distance to kind of travel. But that would be interesting to know like exactly what distance Kuroko could actually get away from the hoop to make it. You know what I mean? Because I think that it's more of a case of him having that compact arch as opposed to having a long distance. I don't know if he would be able to pull off the long distance ones, you know. And maybe he could just get outside of the 3-point line and actually get a 3-pointer. You know, but I don't know how much further he'd probably be able to go. You know, because he does have powerful passes. You know what I mean? So, but it's a case of whether or not you can combine them. You know what I mean? Like for example, his what is it? His I can't remember what's it called. I need to remember all these names for things, man. Where is it? It's here somewhere, man. Ugh, fucking hell, I can't find it. But it's the one where he literally like, you know, like obviously he goes to, you know, pass it from here. Is it Ignite pass? Kai, isn't it? Ignite pass Kai, where he hits it and spins it as well. Like I don't think, you know, I'll be surprised if he was able to combine that into a shot, because then like with the power of that he could start getting real far away from the net, you know. You know, but whether he's able to do that or not, I mean, that's yet to be determined. You know, but yeah, I just find it like really cool that actually did come about in some sort of way. The fact that he uses a passing form in order to shoot, because that's what he's like. That's how he has the, like, you know, that's where his accuracy is formed from his passing. So to just turn that into a different style of shooting, it means that, you know, Aomine was actually the right choice. Like if he was, you know, if you know, for example, hypothetically, if Kuroko had asked Midorima to teach him how to shoot, which on the surface would make sense because he's the most accurate shooter, that I don't think Midorima would have been able to accommodate Kuroko's passing technique into a shot like Aomine does, because Aomine does everything it's completely fluid and he can take any kind of shot, which means that Aomine was the perfect person to actually be able to, you know, teach him how to be able to pull that off, you know what I mean, and to actually put it into practice to make it work. So yeah, really, really cool. You know, because obviously generally I'm saying generally, when you're shooting basketball, it's always off of the fingertips, right? It's like that sort of very caressed, almost like, you know what I mean, like you roll the ball off of your fingertips, right, to get that sort of backspin on the ball, so that it, you know, it has more, I guess it just allows it for like more lofted, it's starting to roll back, so it has more opportunity to land in the basket, right? But yeah, I mean, and that's why I'm thinking that I don't know if Kuroko can actually shoot from further away, because the way that he does actually shoot the ball doesn't require, like, it doesn't have any backspin on it because he doesn't have the roll of the hand. So, you know, but it's really cool nonetheless. You know, I like it when they've figured out a lot of different ways that Kuroko can actually use his abilities in ways that I never even thought they could do before. So yeah, really, really cool. I love the pass of Hyuga underneath Murasaki Bara's legs. That was tidy. It's not very often you see Hyuga pull out a pass like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was just really cool. Also, like because I didn't actually write it down, but yeah, I just recalled when Kiyoshi obviously passed it off to Kagami in sort of like a fucking alley-oop style pass, that Murasaki Bauer was able to get straight back again. I don't even know how the fuck he managed that, because when Kiyoshi passed the ball, Murasaki Bauer was still in the air, right? So I don't know how he managed to drop down and get another jump off that quick, but he did. And Kagami to literally force another hand on the ball to force the pass over to Kuroko was great. Really, really cool. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. They don't have a name for this shot anyway, right? But they do. They're saying that it's basically just applying the vanishing drive to the shot. So I'm just going to call it a vanishing shot for now, because they haven't actually assigned a name to it yet. So that's what I'm just going to call it. But yeah, so we end off the episode with the start of the second half, and Kagami is on Tatsuya, and that's where we get the cliffhanger. I don't know if anybody else noticed it. Kagami looks really focused though. There's a glint in his eye that is red, and it's not like a normal glint that would be like obviously bright white, because obviously the light like reflecting off of the eye would generally be white, but because it's red, I'm wondering if we're going to see Kagami go in the zone real soon in this match. The problem is that I don't know how much do I really want to see it happen. You know what I mean? The problem is that, like, I don't think you want to overdo the zone kind of thing, you know what I mean? Because I felt like obviously anything that is being revealed for the first time is something very special, you know what I mean? But like, I just felt when they went in the zone that one time, it was just like I'm not necessarily saying that it should be like a one-time thing, but I don't want it to get to a point. Well, I say that because I'm just going to find it cool anyway, you know what I mean? I'm going to eat my words and be a hypocrite when it happens, and I'm just going to be like, well, I fucking love it anyway, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's one of those things that, like, I guess the more you do something, the less effect it has on things, you know what I mean? And I feel like what could easily end up happening is that every game against the Generation of Miracles now, they just go in the zone every match, you know what I mean? So, but we'll see. I mean, the only reason why I even brought that up was because of like the red glint in his eye. It wasn't a white glint, and obviously with the red glint, you know what I mean. It's like there's going to be a spark there, right? And lightning's going to shine, and he's going to go in the zone. You know what I mean? I could be just complete. At the end of the day, Kagami's supposed to have that like glare of like a fucking a feline, like a tiger. So you know what I mean. It could just be making it red just to make it like that more intimidating, just to pair with his eye. But who knows? I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out in the next upcoming episodes, right? But anyway, yeah, that is all I've got. So thank you everyone for watching. If you want to gain access to episode 22 and 23 right now, you can do by becoming an early access tier patron over on my Patreon. It's $5 a month. It gives you access to shows a week early, so yeah, you can get access to those next two episodes right now. There's also the full MTF if you want to watch any of my reactions in full and not just the 10-minute cut versions. And then there is the exclusive tier, which gives you access to movie reactions and things like that. So if you want to watch my reactions to movies, that is the tier for you. But that is all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.